Yo neighbors, Baldy Locks Reviews, number 84, G.I. Joe Classified Series, Firefly. This Firefly is based on his original 1984 appearance. Sort of have mine here. We'll compare the two, and we're going to do a straight comparison. You'll see what I mean in a second. Retro, classic Firefly, whatever you want to call him. He's not on a retro card back. He's in a box. We got Firefly here. Let's talk about the character, pop him open, and go from there. G.I. Joe Classified Series number 84, Firefly. So I don't know if they did this on purpose. He debuted in 1984. I doubt they did it on purpose. But anyway, classic or retro Firefly. Finally in hand. Let's take a look. The artwork right on the front. You got the nice digital render here. I'm not sure if this is an Easter egg. I'm usually pretty good with the Easter eggs. I don't know if this is one or not. Here you see Firefly doing his thing. He's got a huge explosion. You have more artwork here from Oliver Barrett. You have his loadout, yada, yada, yada. We get a better look at the artwork here on the side. Again, a QR code that does absolutely nothing. I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. It should at least go to like a file card system. I don't know what this is. Hasbro, or somebody at Hasbro, anybody that knows, what is the use of this? It's like this weird tease. Anyway, on the back, you got Firefly, his loadout, an up close of his face, Cobra logo, and really that's it. I'm going to try and cut down. I babbled on about Chuckles last time. Let's see if I can get a little more condensed so I'm not wasting anybody's time. But Firefly, who is he? Firefly debuted in 1984. He goes all the way back to the beginning of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. Always worked with Cobra. I think there was one series where he was on the Joe side, but then turned out to be a spy. Renegades, maybe? I'm not really sure. He made a cool little cameo in my favorite version of G.I. Joe, which was G.I. Joe Resolute. But anyway, who is Firefly? Firefly, to me, he's kind of like the G.I. Joe universe version of Winter Soldier. And what I mean by that, not that he has any type of superpowers, but he's a stealthy individual. He's like a ghost, a myth. Do you remember when Black Widow described Winter Soldier?
Most of the intelligence community doesn't believe he exists.
Firefly is like that. He's a ghost. He's a myth. Nobody truly believes that he exists. And that goes all the way back to his beginning. If you look at his file card, not even Cobra Commander knows how to access this guy's true identity. He's a hired mercenary, an assassin, soldier for hire that gets the job done. He's a demolitions expert. That's his specialty. Stealth is his specialty. He gets in, he gets out. Nobody knows he was there. He's a ghost. There's even this little meeting here with Zartan where Zartan's impressed that he's meeting the Firefly. And their history goes back and ties in with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. So, a lot of people always wonder, is Firefly a ninja? I remember getting Firefly when I was a kid. I wanted Storm Shadow, I wanted Snake Eyes, I got Firefly. He was kind of my ninja. In the comic books, he was raised by the Koja clan. The clan is the rival clan to the, I never say this right, the Arashikage. The Arashikage? I can't say it right. I never say it right. Anyway, there he quickly rose through the ranks. He was aggressive, he was brutal, and he earned the name Faceless Master. Part of that was he never allowed anybody to take a picture of him. He never showed his face. That carried through into his mercenary days. There's even a time where he's with Cobra Commander, and Cobra Commander says Firefly, and he gets mad at that. He doesn't want to be known. The only way to pay him is through a numbered Swiss bank account. It's been that way since 1984. But anyway, let's get him open. We'll compare him to the original A Real American Hero version, or what's left of it. I do have the legs. We'll also compare him to Cobra Island, and there is one tweak that I would like to make, and that I'm just basing that on the render. It may not work, but let's just get him popped open. You know what? I may not have to make that change after all. Once you see him in hand, check him out. Yeah, that's pretty retro, pretty classic. That is Firefly. But my fear for this was that he was a little too Fortnite looking. If you look at this Fortnite figure, you see what I mean? That's what I was afraid of. I'm not saying it. This does look like Firefly. Now again, something I noticed with Chuckles, and it looks like the newer figures are coming with this, they did away with the rope. There's no more rope tying them in. They went back to a little bit of plastic, and I guarantee you that comes from a productivity level. It's probably faster to let the machine or whatever they're using tie these things in than it is to get these things on. The artwork's continued right there in black and white. I really like that look, so I'm hoping that when they go back to the windowed boxes, they incorporate this somehow. So yeah, man, I mean, that is Firefly. He looks really, really good. They did a nice job. It looks like his articulation is really nice. I'm not seeing, so far, I'm not seeing any issues with the paint apps. That logo looks pretty nice. Yep, this is retro, classic Firefly. No problem there. All right, so for me, his right leg is a little bit stiff. A lot of bit stiff. I mean, he feels solid. He's not gummy. And what's weird to hear is everything else feels nice except for his right leg. And I probably just need a little bit of heat. I was going to do something anyway to compare him to the original figure. So I'll be right back. So basically what I want to do is this anyway. All right, this should be a more fair comparison to the original. All right. Now for sure, he looks like my original. Firefly is classically known to have this urban gray camo. This is a little bit lighter than the old original figure. That was a much darker camo. That's a really nice update that they did here. They've got everything down to the grenade belt, the pouches on the right side, 3 grenades on the left side. I don't know if the original Firefly had a Cobra logo. Oh wait, yeah it did. But it's on his right arm. Well, that's what's left of it. I mean, mine is still in pretty good shape. It has the stripped screw in the back. It just needs a new O-ring, so I'll figure that out. They continue with the small knife sheath on the right forearm. I don't know if you can see that on the original. A lot of people didn't even know it was there. That's his upper half. Now let's take a look at his legs. So with the new design, the legs sit on this waist piece here. So it's a nice update. It's almost the same pants. Pocket on the right side. That belt buckle is pretty much the same thing. His left leg has the explosive pouch on the side there. His right leg has the gun holster there. So it's pretty faithful to the original. Much more faithful than the Cobra Island design. If somebody has a trick or size of a drill bit or the reverse drill bit, I know what I gotta do. I just can't find a good reverse drill bit. Let me know. I'll get this fixed because all in all, he's still in great shape. A little bit loose, but he is almost 39 years old. All right, let me get classic retro Firefly back together. All right, he's as good as new. So by heating him up, his leg now moves with absolutely no issue. That looks painful. Anyway, if you're wondering how I took him apart so easily, it's just called the boil and pop method. Warm up some water, make it hot enough, but still cool enough that you can touch it. Don't burn yourself. Put them in for about 30 seconds. It loosens up the plastic. You can pop it out. That's why it's called boil and pop. Let's take a look at his accessories. Again, you get the weapons container. I don't really use these. These go right back in the box for me. Inside, you get his backpack. This is definitely inspired by his original backpack. I do have a 3D printed version, but it requires some painting, and I'm not that good at it, so I never did it. But I got this for Cobra Island Firefly so that I could turn him into classic Firefly. We'll get to that in a second. But again, the backpack is reminiscent of the original one that came with 1984, a real American hero Firefly. You get his gun, which is very close to the classic gun that he originally came with. You get a couple little explosive mines. This one's kind of lazy looking. It's just a black knife. This is what goes right in his forearm sheath here. It would have been nice if they put a little bit of silver on that, so that seems a little bit lazy to me, but it does just go right in here. I doubt that I'm ever going to take it out, so it doesn't really bother me. You get a little small handgun here. You get a silencer. These things are small. And then you get this clip here for the gun. Slides right in. Silencer goes right on the front there. You get his night vision goggles. That's pretty cool. It reminds me of Splinter Cell. You guys remember that Tom Clancy game? What was the character's name? Sam Fisher? Man, they never made a movie of that. Anyway, that's how he looks with the night vision goggles on. And then I'm such a nerd. I really liked the idea of this RC car. Now, do you guys remember? I cut myself off there. Do you guys remember Call of Duty? I think it was Modern Warfare. Came out with this little RC XD car. It was basically this. It was an RC car that had the demolition clay on it, had a remote very similar to this. I had one up until a few years ago. Here's a picture of it. I'd gotten rid of all my Call of Duty stuff during COVID, and I really missed that little RC car. That thing was cool. So the geeky thing here is that the wheels do turn. It would have been neat to me if they had like the pullback feature where you can just let it go. But I imagine even though that's probably pretty cheap to do, that would up the cost a little bit on the figure. So they do spin. It's a little bit better than the drone that comes with scrap iron. I thought these treads were going to have movement, but they're static. So it is kind of a cool feature to have spinning wheels. I know it's not a big deal, but it is kind of cool. This drone is an update to the drone that came with Cobra Island Firefly. So let's get him out and take a look. Cobra Island Firefly, you could fit everything on that backpack. The car goes right on the back here, which is very reminiscent. The drone, the bombs, everything goes on the backpack for Cobra Island Firefly. Looks like both his mines go on there, so that's pretty cool. I do like that. I don't see a space for the remote. His handgun comfortably goes right into the holster here. We already slid the knife into the sheath. So unless I'm missing something, just like Scrap Iron has nowhere for his remote control to go. It doesn't look like he does either. So you're going to want to try not to lose it. For now, I'll just put it in his hand. It's nice. It slides right in there. Obviously, he can hold his gun, or there's a spot peg on the side of the backpack there. That's what the backpack looks like, all loaded up. Like I said, the RC car fits right in there. So unless I'm missing something, if anybody knows of a spot for the remote control, please let me know. There you go with number 84, Classic Firefly. So how does he stack up to Cobra Island? Again, I already highlighted the backpack. Everything here fits on instead of an RC car. This one came with the drone. In case you didn't know, his little remote control here goes right into the back of the backpack there. Dynamite goes on the bottom. This does slide off if I can get it off. There it goes. I just wasn't pulling hard enough. There, it snaps in. His gun goes on the side. He also has night vision goggles. He also comes in the camo. I think out of all the versions, obviously the urban dark gray camo is what he's known for. So the only problem, I love this Firefly. The reason I like this Firefly is they took the character and they updated him. They made him more modern. I love the vest, but the problem with the vest is you can't move him that well. So what a lot of people did was they started to customize him to look like Classic Firefly. I have some 3D printed pieces here, including a nice replica of the gun. So you can get these out there. Plenty of people have these available. I also have the belt accessories, and I never did it before, but maybe I will just take this vest off real quick and switch them up. But the one thing I was worried about is I thought this face was a little too Fortnite, and I love the way they made him look here. He looks crazy. So one thing I'd like to do just to check it out is switch their heads out. Give me a second, I'll be right back. We're going to turn him into Classic Firefly, and then we're going to switch their heads. So as you can see, the vest does hinder a really nice, bendable, articulated figure. I just lost some light there, so that just proves I'm going a little bit longer than I wanted to. Here's Cobra Island Firefly with some modifications. I think he looks pretty good, but they definitely knocked it out with the new update. I would go with an update over the modified. He's pinless all the way around. He's just a much cleaner looking figure. Like I said, I was a little worried about the head sculpt. I was going to switch it out, but now that I have both in hand, he does kind of carry over that look, that menacing look. And hopefully my lighting isn't messing this up too much. I'll get a better picture comparison side by side. Oh, and speaking of the 3D prints, I finally have the Firefly I want for my night landing. This came out really nice. I got some stickers from Bad Mother Tattoos. I'm going to get them on here. I'll get some pictures. I'll add them onto my Instagram, maybe at the end of this video. More than likely, though. Go to my Instagram page. I'll update it. I'm going to try and recreate the original Night Landing artwork from 1984 with Firefly. Hopefully I can pull that off. Anyway, what do you guys think? Are you going to get this Firefly? Are you going to replace your Cobra Island? Was I stupid to take off the vest? Ultimately, though, will you be picking this guy up? I think it's a good choice. It's a nice replacement. If you can't get your hands on the elusive Cobra Island Firefly, this is a great alternative, and it's ultimately what a lot of collectors wanted anyway. Classic retro Firefly. I like the modern updates. This vest does hinder the movement. You can see there's options, but ultimately, this is a great version of Firefly. I hope you get one. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, comment, and take care. Go hug somebody. Thanks, guys. And yes, we'll get them up on the Lazy Susan. You know what, guys? I couldn't help myself. I went ahead and put Cobra Island Firefly's head on top. I think I like what they gave us. I like the new update. It's not as Fortnite-y as I thought it was going to be. He looks good. He still carries over that crazy eye look. I think most people are going to be really happy with this version of Firefly. That's what he's known for.